welcome to the Get at Gaming Plus podcast. I'm Alex,
I'm Ben.
and we like to talk to you all. I'm going to get all close up to the mic. We like to talk to you all about whatever we like to talk about, whether that is, I don't know, video games. I tell you what, um, TV shows, movies, just everything that we like. Hey, if you like us, you can go to um, Spotify.com and look for us over there. You can also go to honestly any podcast service for the most part. You can go to Pandora. We're on iHeartRadio. We're iTunes. We're everywhere. If we're not somewhere, please let us know. And if you really want us over there, we'll try to get on that weird niche place because why not? Be fun, especially if you're listening to us. Then yeah, I'll definitely try to make it a habit of getting us over there. We're also on YouTube. If you search for youtube.com/getatgaming, you can find us there. The video version on there. These audio versions normally post on Wednesdays bi-weekly, and the videos are Fridays bi-weekly. But yeah, again, we just talk about whatever we want to talk about. This is a weird, chill episode. The day that we're recording this, Gamescom opening night happened, and us collectively, as a podcast, just us two, we have decided that we are not covering Gamescom stuff today because we think that there just might be more announcements and stuff overall throughout the week. I understand opening night is opening night, but there still might be more stuff later. So we're going to go ahead and just wait a week or wait until our next episode before we cover any of that, if there's anything worth the cover from that. But today we have an interesting show for you. It's pretty light overall because of that. But we have some couple of things to talk about, Nintendo news and stuff like that, but as well as just, and we'll just talk about whatever we want to talk about. This is an off the cuff episode. It's so off the cuff that I say the terminology wrong there. But yeah, we normally start off these episodes with our hidden trophies. So Ben, I'm gonna make you go first. Do you have anything at all?
I don't. I did make some purchases from Elements, um, but really I don't have anything as of right now. I do have some things on their way, um, and just kind of an update. I did hear from Limited Run on my um, purchase from August of 2022, and they said it's going to be later.
Yeah.
So they didn't give a date. So
It's worse than
yeah,
the Scott Pilgrim that I bought.
yeah. I'm not even gonna open the game, but I really wanted this level because, what was the game again?
Night Trap?
Yes, sorry, I couldn't remember the name. So I got Night Trap, and the reason I wanted it, it had the script in there. It has 2 figures, has the game, has a documentary, and I wanted that edition just for the script and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Bought it August of last year. Alex said, "Good luck on seeing that in the next year or so." That should have been one of your predictions that I don't get it this year because I really do feel that it's not going to happen. If it does, it's December. But basically, they said that the game itself is done. They're in that process, but the 2 figures they don't have done yet. So, you know, um, yeah, or I would have had a hidden trophy already. So
Yeah, that's true. Maybe someday. It's like me with that that Scott Pilgrim where it took like over a year for it to show up.
I guarantee I was one of a very small group that bought that.
Maybe that's why they're just taking their time because like it's 8 people. No one else bought this.
And it's funny because like everyone's like, "Are you going to open the game and play it?" I'm like, if I want to play it, I could download it right now for $12 or 14 or whatever.
Go Threads. Jared Petty. Maybe he can help you out because isn't he over there?
I think he is. He'd probably be like, "Oh, you're kind of on your own." I still to this day don't fully understand some of the processes of limited run. Um, they only produce stuff and they sell it once they produce it, but they have a whole section there of games that they reserved that they didn't get sold and they have extra copies of.
Yeah, stores.
So yeah, so I don't and they sell some on their website, but not everything they sell in their store. It's kind of a weird thing because I have already seen people on YouTube that have this thing because they were at cons.
Hmm.
So it to me it just seems kind of weird because I mean they were at Comic Con selling in like San Diego. I'm never gonna get to that one,
No, I don't
but
want
I
to.
still yeah, and I still reserved my copy. But here I am waiting as other people already have theirs.
Yeah,
So it's weird. So yes, no hidden treasures this week for me. What about you, Alex?
I have a ton of things. First thing, I guess I got this yesterday. I bought it for $10. I think price charting said it's 20, so that's one of the main reasons. It is a Yu-Gi-Oh game. Uh, it's the Yu-Gi-Oh double pack for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh,
So it
nice.
has two
I
different
loved
games on
those on
here.
Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, there's two Yu-Gi-Oh games in here. I don't know what they are because I forget. But I'm pretty sure they're the ones that I don't own that are separate. So that's cool, I guess. So yeah, I have this. Let's see. A bunch of stuff. Okay. I got these two little guys. I don't remember how much I spent on them, but a little Jigen from Lupin, and then a little Lupin keychain thing, I guess. In his I don't know what the car this is. I forget what car this is. He's normally in like the bug or whatever. Um, but yeah, no, I forget how much I paid for these, but they're in like a whatnot stream thing for like I think it was like $6 or something for them
Oh,
both
nice.
together. So I got that. I didn't get this, but a friend got it for me through Elements because he noticed it. But it is a Lupin game for GameCube,
Oh, wow.
and it's a 2 disc game. So I don't know what it is, but it's Lupin. It's also weird because like if you look at I haven't played it yet or tried it, but if you look at like the manual in here, it's using a lot of art from the Castle Cagliostro movie, like the Miyazaki film, but they color it differently. Like like this is clearly Miyazaki Lupin right here, right? But in Miyazaki Lupin, he has his green jacket, so they colored it to be his red jacket, I guess. And then there's like other parts in here where it's like, oh yeah, that's Fujiko, and she's in her same getup that she is in that movie, but she doesn't have her blonde hair that she has in the movie. She has her dark hair, and just weird things where they're just using old art just to be cheap, but then also just using the Miyazaki art, I guess, because it looks nice. Um, I don't know what this is. I think it's like a puzzle game, kind of brain age type thing, but it's a Doraemon game for 3DS. There's just a bunch of like little things, some mini games and stuff that you could do. It's pretty cheap. I like Doraemon. Um, the next thing I got, I think I might have paid less for this. I'm not sure, but I got Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IV for PS1, the Greatest
Oh, wow.
Hits Chronicles. Um, so I just got the Greatest Hits version because, well, one, it has the manual and stuff in here as well. Um, but also there's no like special thing with the black label like the the Final Fantasy 6 one, the 5 and 6 collection thing, the anthology. The black label came with soundtrack, um, whereas the black label for this does not. So there's no reason to be picky between the two. So that's the main reason why I bought this one. Um, Next thing, I don't remember if these came last week or when they did, but I have more movies, so I've got a bunch of Urusei Yatsura movies that came in. So I have all of them except the second one, since the second one is now out of print. So once the second one comes back in print, then I'll have all the movies. So yeah. So one of them was on like sale for like the Right Stuff anime sale. Or no, two of them were on sale for the Right Stuff anime sale. And so I was like, I might as well buy the rest at this point because I already had the free shipping, and like movies aren't that expensive. Like they are when you total them up, but like some of them, like the ones that were cheap were like $11 a piece, and then the ones that weren't on sale were like $18 a piece. So like you might as well just go for it, especially because you already have the free shipping and stuff. So that's why I did that and just got all of them that I could. The last two things I got from uh, Whatnot again. I got a Dot Hack CD, Legend of Twilight CD. It's a character, song, and story CD. So it kind of looks like um, Balmung and his little lackey guy, like they're recording in the recording booth there, and then as not Kite, Shugo and Reina. That's who they are. They're different characters. Legend of Twilight takes place um, after original games, but before GU because GU wasn't canon yet. Long story short, they're little kid. They're like 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds maybe, who are siblings who won these avatars through a character contest. So like that's why they're Kite and Black Rose, but they're really Shugo and Reina. And then I also got this other CD, Dot Hack CD, Dot Hack something the world. I forget what it's called, but it's based on the movie, the CG movie that came out in America only, or in Japan only. It was with that PS3 game, the Dot Hack Versus. So like I have that collector's edition over there. But that collector's edition doesn't come with the soundtrack, so I got the soundtrack for fairly cheap. I think I paid like $15 for that one, and then this Dot Hack one I think was like $12 maybe.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, the world one, um, the oh, it's just dot hack. Okay, I was reading like the. I was like dot. Okay, it's dot hack. Trying to see what it would say. Um, but yeah, the movie one, I was looking. I couldn't find it anywhere online. The only things I could see were things that were selling on eBay, and like they were selling for like crazy money, like $56 for some dumb reason and all that. This first one wasn't selling for that much, but yeah, the movie one was selling for a lot, and I think that's stupid. I don't know why it was. I guess because they can, because there were no other sold listings, so there is no real price for it. Um, but yeah, that's all I really got there from. Like I said, that's all. It's a lot. Yeah, that's all that I got there from purchasing stuff in the past few weeks since you last saw me. Um, but since this is a weird episode, I kind of wanted to go over this news first, and then we'll go into what we've been playing, what we've been watching.
I think, yeah, I kind of agree on that one.
Because I think we're gonna go into weird side tangents and stuff when we
Probably.
go into our other stuff. So yeah, I thought we would do this. Um, so yeah, so big Nintendo news that happened a couple days ago. Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, as far back as Super Mario 64. Although that's not necessarily true. It's actually older than that. He was on some PC learning game or something, or poker game. Charles is now moving into a brand new role of Mario Ambassador. With his transition, he will be stepping back from recording character voices for our games, but he'll continue to travel the world, sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with you all. It has been an honor working with Charles to help bring Mario to life for so many years, and we want to thank and celebrate him. Please keep an eye out for a special video message from Shigeru Miyamoto and Charles himself, which will be post as at a future date. Um, so yeah, no more Charles. Yeah, his first official Nintendo thing was Mario 64 because that was the first time we heard him speak, and that was a big thing. I don't know if you've seen the videos of like the Space World or whatever, where he's like in the back and he has like this whole rig on his face that's tracking him, and then he can see who's looking at the screen, and it's just like a Mario head floating, like how it was in 64, and he just be talking to them. Just be like,
That's
"Oh, it's
crazy.
me, Mario. I'm making a pizza pie. Oh, here's a spaghetti. Here's this," and he's just like just rambling on for hours, or like just talking. Because like I've seen that recently too. Whoever played Sonic in the new movies, that guy, I can't think of his name right now, but they did kind of like the same thing where like he was like head or like some CG thing, but then he could like actually like speak to people and like see through the screen and be like, "Hey, I'm Sonic," and the kids are freaking out like, "Oh, it's Sonic." Except not with that adult voice. They would be like, "Ah, it's Sonic." But whoa, dude, it's Sonic. It's Shredder. Where? Um, but let's see. Yeah, so Mario just being here for Charles Martinet being Mario for so long is an amazing accomplishment. I'm shocked that he's been Mario for almost 30 years. um, he's been Mario he's been the Mario forever. Obviously, I mean, there's been Lou Albano, then there's been other people from like the Mario 3 show and the Mario World show, because that's not all Lou. Those are other people as well. And then also we got big old Chris Pratt now as Mario. Um, I guess what I want to, I guess I'll go to you first, and then I'll say the interesting tidbit afterwards. How does this affect you? How does it make you
I
feel?
mean, I know that there was mixed signals from people of like, before this came out when it was announced. I think people thought he got let go, or he's been doing this for a very long time, and I think he wants to, eventually retire at some point. He is not a young man anymore. I think we just take for granted that it's like you know the guy that does Peter Calling, that does Optimus Prime's voice. At some point, he will step down and no longer do that. You know, it's even though that's such an iconic voice, you're going to have these moments where they are going to step down, and I think people, it's kind of like a shock thing of like, oh man, it's actually happening. He's still going to be with Nintendo doing this ambassador program, which is perfect for him,
Yeah,
and I think you're going to see him here and there. I guarantee he will have a voice in the new Super Mario Bros. Movie when it comes out, or if they do.
maybe
A,
he'll, because he's two characters in the first movie. He's the dad, and then he's the Jumpman guy or whatever.
yeah. So I think I good for him. You know, I think the fact that he has been doing this for so long. I remember when he was at Comic Con, uh, where we live, and he showed up, and you could hear him doing his Mario stuff
Yeah.
on the other side. Like I was waiting in line for somebody else. I think it's cool for him.
Mhm.
I'm glad, and I know people were like mixed about it online, but people just need to understand that people retire. I mean, I'll be upset when Peter Collins is like, hey, I'm not going to do Optimus Prime anymore. I'm
Yeah.
going to retire. But, it's going to happen at some point. Yeah, I think I was like 5 or 6 when he was doing Optimus as an
Yeah.
adult. He's getting up there in age.
Yeah. And it's
So
the same thing with me. Like I was like pretty young when Martinet started as Mario, so like it's the same type of thing. But like he's not just Mario though. Like he's everyone. He's Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, um, even the babies. He does those too, like the baby
yeah,
Mario's and all of that. So it'll be interesting. people have gone back to the Mario Wonder trailer and listened to it again, and especially like the newer trailers. That's not him. It is someone different. Um, so it was already there in plain sight. And I've seen some other videos and stuff from when it first got introduced. They're like, why does Mario sound different or something like that? And now
Yeah,
we know, like, oh, it's not Mario. It's not
I'm
Charles
sure.
Martinet.
I'm sure this has been a discussion for a while now, and he's probably been like, "Look, I think it's time for I step down from this."
Mm,
Obviously, he's doing a good enough job that they want to keep him as Mario ambassador.
yeah,
So, because if he wasn't doing a good job, if there was any sort of like, "Hey, we're gonna let you go," they would let him go. The
yeah,
fact that they want to hold on to him for a position there, and the fact that he has a video that they're going to post with Miyamoto, I mean, that shows that there's a lot of respect there, a ton of respect. Um, is going to be weird not him having them there, yes, but congrats to him to retire and do something different and step down from that role. I think it's got to be a lot of work to do that role, even though we're like, what is it, like one or two lines? Try doing that for like 10 hours or whatever it is they do recordings for like every new thing that they do. It's a
yeah.
lot of work.
I'm curious. Well, one, I'm curious when and if they're gonna tell us who the voice actor is for Mario.
Hmm? Definitely not Chris Pratt.
No, it's not. Chris Pratt can't do that wowie zowie or whatever he says in that new game, because like that was the one where I was like, this doesn't sound like Charles. Like I just assumed that was Charles. It's like, oh, maybe this guy's getting old. It's like Dan Norris Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents thing,
Mhm.
where it's like he used to sound like this and then it just kept getting higher and higher and higher because like it's harder on the voice, and he thought it was funnier because making the voice even higher.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you just get older, so you have to change the voice. So I was like, oh, maybe that's it. I don't know. It's just the wowie zowie sounded really weird and out there. Um, but no, I'm interested because like yeah, we had a final Wario game with him, which was the WarioWare game for the Switch. We had a final Luigi Mansion game for him, and then we had the Mario. Um, I don't know, whatever the last Mario game was that had this or whatever, but like, yeah, we'll miss him for sure.
Absolutely.
I, just, I so what it was described as in other podcasts, which I can totally see. Um, it's a Mel Blanc situation where it's like Bugs Bunny passing the torch. Like Mel Blanc uh, was Bugs and a lot of characters in Looney Tunes forever, and then eventually it became other people. Same thing with like a Mickey Mouse thing where like it was Walt Disney and then it just moved on to different people. Like it is a passing the torch. So it's just weird to see one of these characters change voices that hasn't changed voices yet, but like eventually in so many years when like we're really old and Miyamoto's dead or whatever, like there might have been already three other Marios at that point. Like it's
Right.
it's just gonna be common to just be, all right, let's make the new Mario, let's make the new Bugs Bunny. It's like Billy West was Bugs Bunny like twice, and then we have Eric Bauza, we have Mel Blanc, we had just a bunch of different people. So it's not a bad thing. So don't
No, and
don't don't worry.
I feel like you're right. It is passed to get the torch. Um, because at some point it does strain the voice to do some of these voice work things.
Yeah.
So, um, good for him. Good for him for finally stepping away. And I look forward to see what the Mario Ambassador program is and see what it is, and
Yeah.
go from there.
It's probably him just going to con still, but putting on Nintendo's dime.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could see that
Yeah.
of doing like programs and things where it's hey, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna pay you to do it.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Because like
which is
I'm curious, like what other things he's gonna get into because he was in the Dragon Ball Super movie. He was one of the villains in the dub.
Yeah,
So like, and he even dressed up as a villain, like at the red carpet. Like he wore like the purple suit and stuff, which is really cool. Um, but yeah, I wonder like if this will leave him open to other projects.
yeah,
And
maybe.
maybe do other things. I saw a fake like not a leak or something, but it was a fake rumor where they're like, ah, yeah, now that he isn't Mario anymore, now I'm gonna be Sonic. He's the new voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's like there's no way Charles Martinet can be Sonic the Hedgehog.
I
Maybe
mean,
maybe Chuck or something.
in the movies, I love the character's voice for Sonic. Even in, I don't know if it's Sonic 1 or 2, because he was from Parks and Rec. That's where I found out who he was.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
and
where I
he,
found
I,
him too.
oh my God, I loved his character with him and his sister. And he always did like, that's the worst. He would sing it. And
Yeah,
he did it in the Sonic movie.
yeah,
I can't remember which 1 or 2. I was like, oh my gosh, it's John Ralphio.
yeah. John
Um,
Ralphio himself. Yep.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I gosh, and I love that. So maybe he's gonna do more things. I didn't know he was in the Dragon Ball Super movie
yeah.
until you said something, but now that I think about it, that I can see
Yeah,
that.
he's not the spoilers or Dragon Ball Super movie, superhero kind of. He's not Jiro's son. He's like the other guy who's like pulling the strings, like the guy
Oh,
who like kind of looks like Frankenstein and has like a purple suit. Um,
gotcha. Yep, it makes sense now that I hear it, in
yeah,
my head.
maybe it's more of
So
a pink suit, but like it's some sort of like color like that. But yeah, that's the first news story, and then I have another thing. I don't really want to. I'll fast forward through it. You don't even know what I'm talking about. Scott Pilgrim is coming. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I don't want to play it because every time we play it, even without sound, YouTube gets at us and yells like, "Hey, you're playing a video." Um, so yeah, there is a Scott Pilgrim anime coming out. Who is it? Science Saru. I had to look up what they've done again, but they've done some stuff memorable, but not really a whole lot. But it has all the actors and stuff. Edgar Wright's producing it. Everyone from the movie is back, as far as I can tell. Um, let's see, yeah, here. So Allison
oh, it's
Pill,
awesome.
Johnny Simmons, Matthew Patel's there, Michael Cera, obviously, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Brandon Routh, Kieran Culkin, Aubrey Pauza, Jason Schwartzman, Chris Evans is back as Lucas Lee. Okay, cool. Brie Larson, Ellen Wong, Mark Webber, Anna Kendrick, Mae Whitman. Everyone is here. Like, I think it's gonna be
I
really cool. I
I
really like
love
the
the cast.
style. I like this Street Fighter like style right here that does,
Yes,
and then it goes back to like the old style. But yeah, this comes out November 17th on Netflix, which means I have
I
to get Netflix again.
I love the trailer for this, and it was like because I think when I watched the movie for the first time, all the hidden gems of video game related in it were awesome. Um, I love the comedy aspect of it. But with this right here, this looks like it's going to be really great. Um, I will watch this, and I love the movie.
Yeah, I love
Um,
the movie so much. I really like the game, obviously. I have the big old collector's thing. I own the graphic novels in paperback and the hardcovers. I don't own like the big old one because like that's a horrible way of buying that book. The binding just dies. Um, but and then yeah, I own like the movie on like 4K and all that stuff too. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Scott Pilgrim. I'm very excited just to see this, see what it does. It's probably going to be more in line with the actual graphic novel, just because the fifth and the sixth book weren't finished when they were filming the movie, and that's why it has a different ending near like all that. Like there's no technodrome, I guess. There's no like I don't know, like all the spoilers for Scott Pilgrim. There's no Ramona clones and like all this other weird stuff. You don't find out that he's just like a weird stalker. That like yeah, just implanted I guess the chip and all that. But like there's a lot more to it. And then maybe we'll see I don't know, Scott get a job and like work at that what was it, like a pizzeria or something for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you just maybe we'll get to learn how to make some vegan cooking from Steven Stills and we'll just see like everything pulled out. Um Man, I just want to read the graphic novels back there again because like it's a fun time. I think the movie is definitely something special, and I think the characters and the acting um, does it justice very very well. Um, I think the movie's probably better than the graphic novels, to be honest, just because of all that acting and stuff. But since all these actors and stuff, they've gone through a lot of change since Scott Pilgrim. I think this will be better than the movie, only because they are better actors now. I think
Yeah,
they
I
were
mean,
great actors back then, but like,
yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
you're not tied by live action. You are
right.
voice acting.
I mean, Culkin did an amazing job in there. Aubrey Palza. I loved her character because they kept censoring her. Um, and I am a firm believer that Edgar Wright does no wrong.
Mm.
So, I mean, he did Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead. We're not going to talk about World's End, but we'll talk about how good Hot Fuzz is in Shaun of the Dead.
I've never seen it.
Uh, Shaun of the Dead. So funny thing.
I've seen Shaun of the Dead. I haven't seen Hot Fuzz.
Okay, Hot Fuzz is literally like Shaun of the Dead. It's a buddy comedy ish thing where Simon Pegg's character is so good that they have him transferred because he makes them all look bad. And so he goes to this village. It's one village of the year, and all this crazy stuff happens, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's just an accident," right? And I think he starts busting things open, but like, as it gets down to like the very end, and you start seeing things, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is like so well done," right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
you also
never
get to
saw
see
Baby Driver either, but I did see World's End, like you said.
it's okay.
World's End's weird, especially near the end, where it's just like, hey, post-apocalyptic aliens. Where did this
Um,
come from?
Baby Driver's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, you had such good people like Kevin Spacey, Jamie Foxx. That movie is like on my list of top ones. But again, I mean, if Edgar Wright does it, I'll watch it. He did half of Ant-Man, I think.
He did, and then he got
They
kicked
scrapped it.
off or he stopped. So then it was in his style, but it wasn't him.
Yeah, because I was waiting for like Simon Pegg and like Nick Frost to show up because those are his boys.
But they
Um,
didn't.
they did not.
Yeah.
But I think this looks really good. This is kind of like Netflix when we were talking about it. Like Netflix, you need to come out with some stuff that people like that is good, like original things. This is one thing here. Now, let's kind of go with this and do some more good things if I'm going to pay my $20 a month for my Netflix. So,
Exactly. Um Similar to what you just said here with Netflix and buying stuff or like wanting to have exclusives or whatever. I don't know how I was going on with this, but anyway, Disney. I don't know if you saw announced that they are releasing Blu-ray and 4K for Mandalorian season 1 and 2,
I did see that.
and Loki and WandaVision.
I did see that. And I saw the steelbook work
Yeah,
for those.
yeah, they're all steelbooks only.
Oh my gosh, The Mandalorian looks awesome. I have not bought the last movie I bought on Blu-ray or 4K was Dragon Ball Super. That movie. That was the last one I bought. And before that, I hadn't bought anything. I think
Probably
almost a
since your
year.
Transformers collection.
Yeah. Yeah. I bought the Transformers, it was like 30th anniversary on 4K,
Yeah,
but and a Steelbook. I bought that, and that's the last ones I bought. I don't buy a lot of physical movies anymore because it just for the kids it's easier just to buy it digitally because then they can watch it and we don't have to worry about loose a disc gets lost or whatever. But
Yeah, like I get that, like as that, but then as a collector though, like, and for someone who doesn't want lost media, especially nowadays, because it's like, oh, not all of regular show is available. So let's just say that for
yeah,
example, because we're gonna go into Max here probably in a little bit. Not all regular show is available on DVD and Blu-ray in America. Regular show, the only things that are available are like this weird Slackers pack thing that has a little bit of something. That's a DVD, and then there's another like party pack thing, and then there's the Blu-ray of season 1 and 2. That's one thing, and then season 3 was a DVD only, and that is it. There might have been the movie as well. The movie might have been on DVD, but the rest of it's digital only. The rest of it's streaming only, or through Amazon or iTunes or whatever. So if Max or whoever decides I don't want this anymore, I'm gonna make this a tax write-off for no reason, um, and it's gone, then it's gone. It's like Close Enough. So like Close Enough was the show made by J.G. Quintel that was originally going to premiere on TBS, and then it got pushed back weird because of COVID and all of that. And then it showed up on HBO Max, and it was an HBO Max exclusive, and it had 3 seasons, and the third season came out on HBO Max, and then they announced that the Max and HBO Max was changing and all of that. And as they were changing, like later, they were like, "Hey, we're getting rid of Close Enough." It's just all disappearing. The same year that season 3 came out, not even 5 months later. I think it was like 3 months later. Like, yep, it's all gone. And luckily for some of that stuff, you can buy it digitally, but Close Enough doesn't have a physical release, and
yeah.
it never will here. Physical releases are more common in like UK and stuff. Oddly, for some reason, I've noticed. But yeah, it's just a weird like not lost media necessarily, but like it just the available and readiness of things. Like it's scary because things can disappear eventually, and then what if you really want to watch a show that you really like? How are you gonna watch it? The only way to watch it is to pirate it, and like that doesn't feel good.
Well, and you make a good point there because if you look at Disney, Disney's been stripping things from their streaming service all over the place.
Like Willow
um
or whatever.
yeah, Willow. I noticed that Nick Fury show is now on Hulu.
Yeah,
um you know Willow had problems from the start. I didn't like it. It was trying to be campy like the original, but then they put modern music with stuff, which made it super weird and awkward.
but the thing
What
is,
really,
like, why get rid of it? Like, you made it.
right?
Like, it should be available for everyone to watch, and it
They
wasn't
had
there that long.
Yeah, they had a movie that they took out like after a month. It was like a really people really liked it. It was a movie about kids in space,
Mm-hmm.
and did really well. And then they were like, "Oh, it's gone," and they're getting rid of more and more stuff every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually own both regular shows, season 1 and 2 and 3,
Yeah,
physical media,
yeah, I
and
do.
so and then they're getting more and more expensive as you look at them.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. You talk about HBO Max kind of like a slide into HBO Max and what it is now. When HBO Max came out, it was awesome. I think it was the top one. They had all the Cartoon Network, all the Adult Swim stuff, um, and it was great because like you literally could not watch the Adult Swim stuff anywhere else. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, one thing we definitely talk about. And one of my favorite shows is Warrior that came from Cinemax. Didn't do well on Cinemax, but I feel like Cinemax didn't do well in general. And so it comes out, they put it on HBO Max, blows up overnight. I mean, it's on social media everywhere. People are like, "Hey, this is the show." I don't think people realize about that show, but that show was an idea that Bruce Lee had before he passed away, and his daughter helped get it produced. Well, they just had a third season,
Yeah,
It's just crazy. And now that it's just Max, there's a lot of Discovery shows, and there's also this, but they're removing stuff left and right. So my kids love Clarence, and all of a sudden, all the Clarence stuff was gone.
It's on
And
like
so,
Hulu only, I think,
yeah, you can watch it on Hulu, which is fine. But like,
until
you
that goes
know,
away. Yeah.
yeah, they had the regular show movie that's gone.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I, I I don't know. I have a big argument with like HBO Max and some of these streaming services. They were really good at first when they first came out, even Disney. But as time's gone on, they're not as they were. Do
Because
you remember they used to put out movies 30 days after in the theater? They threw them on streaming.
yeah, I mean that was a COVID thing, and I get like
Yeah.
that's the reason why they stopped that. But my big gripe about it is that Disney Plus, for example, should as it was advertised, it's like, hey, we're gonna have new stuff, we're gonna have these new Star Wars shows and things. But also the main reason why you're buying it, this is a Disney archive. And you can watch whatever you want that's Disney, and it's here. Do you want to watch old DuckTales? Cool. Do you want to watch Gargoyles? All right. Do you want to watch old Mickey Mouse cartoons from like the 60s? Have at it. It's all here. But then, yeah, now there's stuff disappearing left and right. Um, Same thing with HBO Max. HBO Max had all these different channels and things. They have a DC channel, and they created exclusive things for their like the Aquaman, like that weird Aquaman show that looked like the Thundercats Roar animation.
Yep.
Um, that disappeared. There is a physical copy of that out. Like they did make it. I don't know if it's Blu-ray, but I think it was like DVD only. But there are physical copies of that out. It is not on HBO Max anymore. I think that was the only way to watch it. Unless it's like
Yeah.
on Amazon where you could purchase it. But yeah, like the whole point of a lot of these things, even the Max now, like you have a DC channel, here's all the DC cartoons, cool, and then they just add stuff and just keep adding them. Um, Max is Warner Brothers Discovery technically. Why are you getting rid of Warner Brothers shows? You own those. What is the reasoning for? I don't think they did it, but because of the ratings. But like, what's the reason for trying to get rid of Steven Universe? That show is streaming like crazy right now. Like it got really, really popular. I want to say 2 months ago. Like
Yeah.
it was on like TikTok and everything again for some reason, and the ratings were just going through the roof. But then they got rid of things like OKKO. They got rid of a lot of those Adult Swim shows. Like what? Why? Like you own these. Like there's
Yeah.
no reason unless you actually there is a reason. They don't want to pay residuals for actors and all that, and that's the main reason.
Yeah. And I think you're going to see a decline because, at first, with streaming, you only had Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the next year or so, in the next, I would say sometime after first year, Hulu and Disney Plus are going to be one. So it's just going to be one app that you use.
It's gonna be bad.
Uh, it kind of makes me worried, you know. But I think I have high expectations of it. I feel like there's Disney owns so many properties. Why are we not seeing like all these crazy properties that they own on Hulu? Right? There's a whole bunch that we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the other day it was kind of weird. The kids wanted to watch Home Alone on Disney.
Mm-hmm.
They had the first two, and then the weird ones after. But it's gone. It's no longer on Disney at all.
Huh.
So I don't know if it was, and they own the rights to it now because they bought that part of Fox.
Yeah.
So you're right. Maybe they promised it to somebody else.
I know that's happened. Like initially, that's happened a lot, and like that makes sense. I to a degree, but then there's the weird things where it's like, hey, this actually is yours, and it doesn't go anywhere else. It just disappears. Like that's the thing that's really annoying.
You know where I'm seeing a lot of these things go, and this is really crazy. So I have talked about Tubi before.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of big, huge blockbuster movies on there now. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I've
Like
noticed.
um, without bringing it up, I might have to bring it up as we're kind of talking about it because I was on the other day and I was like, wait, this is on there. Um, I mean, these are movies that are like, we're just on HBO or you know whatnot, but like, let me see. They got Clerks now
Oh
on
wow,
there. It's the better version of Clerks. It's like the
Clerks X or whatever.
yeah. Um, but they added a bunch of just different things on there, but there's like a lot of like movies and stuff that you can't see anywhere else.
They have weird anime too. Like they have the rights to dot hack anime, all three of
Oh,
them for no
here it
reason.
is. The new Matrix movies on there.
Did it get kicked off of HBO?
I don't know, but I would figure that was an HBO specific movie.
Yeah.
Now it's on there. Um, they've got some big blockbusters on here. They've got like Hitman's Bodyguard and stuff like that. But then they like, of course you're gonna get the weird ones. You're like, I've never even heard of this movie, but like Detective Pikachu's on here.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to find some of these like ones I saw the other day. But I think the big thing is like these are pretty big movies that could go someplace else and they're not there.
Mhm.
No one wants to watch the remake of Total Recall because it sucked. Um, you know,
Mhm.
but it's crazy because like they have the entire first two seasons of Transformers. They've got the Conan cartoon, which most people don't remember from '93.
Wow.
They've got the entire season of Yu Yu Hakusho.
Huh.
And so like it's crazy because like people are like, oh, it's Tubi, it's all crap. They've got some weird things that are like theirs,
They hold the exclusive rights to the Detective Conan dub that's horrible for the newer episodes. For some reason they release them on there, but then they're dubbed. But half the time the dubbing is really bad, or like it's there's a character speaking and they're not speaking, or something. But yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, Tubi has a lot of stuff. Like I said before, I found Dot Hack Roots on DVD finally. I started watching a little bit of it through Tubi because yeah, they have the exclusive rights now instead of Hulu, who used to have them.
Yeah,
They have the rights to Dot Hack Roots, Legend of Twilight, and Sign, and yeah, like that's the only way to watch them unless you buy the DVDs through like Right Stuff or something.
I think it's crazy when you look as I'm looking through here, like things that have been totally canceled you can't watch anywhere else. Like, okay, so here's one, Alex, that we'll bring back. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The Man Show from 2001.
Oh wow,
All seasons are on Tubi. Um, yeah, right.
okay,
Uh, I mean, obviously, I'm on there a lot. Um, but they have all of the Super Sentai shows.
yeah,
They've got things like Mask and that. But I think this is what we're starting to road to. They are a free. The only thing is they put commercials in the middle of some
yeah.
of their movies and TV shows. Nothing crazy, like one or two commercials about a minute long. I think that's you're starting to see a lot of that uh, through streaming. And I think, as these companies start growing and doing these things, they just got to come down to a way of like, okay, because at some point, I don't want to be paying what I was paying when I had cable,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
That's the whole
Also,
point. You got rid of it.
exactly. And I think if I'm going to be streaming this stuff, right, I want to keep my content there. That's the whole point of streaming, of like, I know I can go back and watch, you know, this. Also, I feel like Disney Plus has a lot of things that are not on there. There's a lot of old Disney stuff they own the rights to. It's not on there. Like, what about the Mickey Mouse Club from the
I feel like
90s?
there's some weird rights issues with like actors.
Probably. I mean, there was a lot of big people that came from that show,
Yeah.
you know, or like a movie that I used to watch all the time because it showed up on the religious channel. They had like this Disney afternoon. They would show like Disney movies from like the 70s. Was Condor Man.
Yeah.
It's so cheesy,
I
so
remember you've
bad.
talked about it before, but yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
But then they have like really old, weird, nostalgic stuff like Davy Crockett,
Yeah, exactly.
you
Or it's
know?
weird because like there's certain things that they've been missing forever. Like they're missing Aladdin the animated series. They
Yeah.
have Hercules. They have Little Mermaid. They don't have Aladdin. And Aladdin ties in with the third movie since the third movie is like the finale and the second movie of Aladdin is like the pilot essentially. So it just baffles my mind on why are you missing this show specifically?
I think, I definitely think it's like they're missing the when it first came out to be able to I signed up so funny story when they came out in November a couple years back. The day they came out, I was in an airport ready to fly out
It
for work.
took forever to sign up. I had to
Yep.
like three of us had to try to do it with our credentials and eventually one of us got in.
I used my phone in the airport.
Yeah.
And so I got it to go through. I sent it to my wife. I said, "Hey, here you go. Here's the login stuff." It really wasn't on a lot of TVs yet,
Yeah.
um, and it was great. Like it was cool going through. My mom found the original Mickey Mouse Club on there
Mhm.
that she watched when she was young,
Yeah.
and that's gone now. But like now, it's like, and I get it, you got to raise prices, but give me something that you're gonna, structure this to be this way, and stop taking things away.
Yeah,
Stop,
exactly.
you know, I know they got a new Percy Jackson show that starts this year
Yeah,
on
it's
Disney.
really soon. And if that does bad, I guess what's going to disappear? Probably that.
Yeah, well, and they've even said they're going to calm down on the Marvel and the Star Wars shows, right?
Yeah.
I was really hoping for a second season of Book of Boba Fett. There's so much that you can go to for when it takes place, and I thought it did pretty decent.
Mhm.
They've already talked about a second season of Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
so there's so much they can kind of do with that. I get it; they need to calm down on some of this stuff. Did we really need Secret Invasion? Probably
I
not.
did not watch it.
I watched one episode and it was okay. But like also did we I think Falcon and Winter Soldier was good, right?
I didn't really
But
watch
then
it either.
but then I felt like there was all those okay, so the Hawkeye one was pretty decent as well. I did like Hawkeye.
Same.
Um but like it was hit or miss. Like I've never finished WandaVision. I know people are like, you're insane.
Everyone loves Wonder Vision. You're the insane one. Yeah.
Yeah. I just haven't gone back to it.
Do it. Get
I
the
did
get
finish
the 4K.
Loki. Yeah, I did finish Loki. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's those hit or miss ones there. And obviously on the Star Wars side, we have Ahsoka coming out here very soon.
Like
I'm
today.
yeah. Yeah, the day this launches is when Ahsoka. I am almost done with Rebels, so I will finish Rebels.
Technically the day that we're recording this, it came out. It comes out it's Tuesdays now.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Like it came out an hour ago.
Um,
Tuesdays at 9.
it should be interesting because everything about that show looks great. And I heard, obviously, rumor and speculation that Darth Vader shows up in the season somewhere. So we'll have to
I
wait
could
and
see that.
see. I like the story what I saw so far, and now that I've watched most of Rebels, I get a good idea of it. So that's fine. But I mean, just in general, like losing things, because you're right. Once they're gone for good. Um, I don't picture us going out and buying like finding clearance on a physical and buying all the clearance stuff.
Well, it's like the DC stuff like Young Justice Phantoms was the last season that came out for HBO Max. That's never going to get a physical release, but all the other
Mhm.
ones did.
Yeah.
So
Well, I saw they have the Gotham Night show. I haven't watched it yet.
I
It's
didn't.
on my
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I went on a major tangent. I feel like they do to not end on a negative thing. I do feel like Max has some good shows. Um, Mighty Gemstones, fantastic. Warriors, fantastic. I started watching this show called Telemarketers, and it literally is like video from the early 2000s. These guys worked in one in Jersey, and they were ripping people off, and so they had all this old video they took from then mixed with video they did today.
Mm.
It's really really good. So they do have their shows. Um,
How are you guys? Um, I don't, I don't know if I want to speak. Depending on how far you are you watching Superman with your kids?
no, not yet, but I wanted to get through. My biggest thing right now is getting through Rebels.
Okay, because
So
Superman's happening. Like, there's 2 more episodes with the season, then it's done.
we have been like, when we have time that we can watch something, it's usually Rebels
Mhm.
because I want to get it done.
Yeah.
So when I start Ahsoka, like I probably won't watch Ahsoka until next week because I'll finally get done with Rebels. Um, but I think that's the next one I want to watch with them. So they love, what was it? They were watching Batman Brave and the Bold a couple weeks ago and they loved it. So
Okay. Yeah, I
um
think Superman's really good. My Adventures with Superman. It does a lot of cool things. There's a lot of anime references and other references. Like the first episode, they're fighting production Avas essentially. Like they are the Avas from the movie and the Evangelion. Um, like the fourth episode, there's like these robot guys who look like the Gurren Lagann robots. Um, I don't know. I want to say there's like an Ultraman reference maybe, but like there's just so much just random like things because the creators and stuff of this now are like our age or younger even,
yeah.
and so it's just really cool to see like I know that thing or it just how inspired they are and they're changing stuff up. Um, uh, kind of spoilers, kind of not. I just want to. Have you ever watched the episode? This is a great episode of Superman the animated series. Have you ever watched Superman the animated series? First of all, like the
Mm,
old like DC, not old, but like the one that like ties with Batman the animated series and Justice League and all that.
I never did. This is what I watched on Batman, and I did watch Justice League Unlimited. Was my big one. I watched.
Unlimited's awesome.
Yeah, I probably watched every season of that.
Okay, homework for you after you're done with Rebels and all of that. You should really watch the first Superman. I think your kids would really like it. One, your young ones. But two, like it leads into Justice League. Like everything that happens in there happens into those shows. But there's an episode that's very iconic with Mister Mixik Um, I don't know if you know who that is. He's played by Gilbert Gottfried,
Okay,
and he's basically like a Looney Tunes Mr. Magoo type character with like a tiny hat, and he's just a character from another dimension. And the way to get him to go away is like say his name backwards or something.
I do know who that is.
Okay. And like there's like Batmite and stuff too. Like if you've seen like Teen Titans, like it's the same type of thing. But like he has like a big nose and like the black eyes and stuff and a little hat. But anyway, they did him in the new Superman. It's not Gilbert Gottfried, obviously, but they did him very interesting. Like they changed up his design completely. They still had like the tiny hat as like a MacGuffin, but like um yeah, that's a hilarious episode of that show, and it's one of Gilbert Gottfried's like best performances. So, um, but yeah, I just wanted to know if you've seen that because yeah, because there's an episode all about that character.
Yeah,
Um,
the big thing besides Rebels I've been watching, we might as well just talk about it. I'm almost done with Justified because there's that new Justified season that came out, and I want to watch it.
mhm,
Um, Obviously, my Gemstones is done till next season, and they
yeah.
did get a season 4 and 5.
Oh wow.
Um, Warrior ended on the probably some of the best fight scenes I've seen in the entire series.
Yeah.
Uh, Insane. I mean, I almost it's almost as good as, kind of spoilers, but in the second season, um, the Irish are pretty mad.
Mhm,
They're blaming the Chinese, so they raid Chinatown, killing and beating everybody. So the Hopway and this other gang that are always fighting each other are there to protect the town. So you have two gangs that hate each other attacking this angry mob. So many Bruce Lee references. The
Hmm.
main character gets nunchucks at one point.
Oh, that's awesome.
Uh, yeah, I mean it's so good. And then he fights the guy that runs the Irish is like a really good fighter, and he fights him and actually beats him.
Hmm.
But this season, the third season, just was insane. Twists and turns. I just finished it. I watched the last episode twice.
Huh.
Um, I did go back and start watching Vice Principals, which is done by the same people that did Mighty Gemstones.
Hmm.
Um, there, but I feel like I, with the kids, it's nice having an option to watch other things. And if I have to watch that Clarence one where they have the sleepover at Belson's house one more time, I'm probably gonna explode. That is their all-time favorite episode where he's trying to prank them, and
Yeah.
if they don't get pranked, they get the game system.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they love that episode. I kind of varies on Adventure Time. Adventure Time after a certain season got a little different. I feel like they're still kind of young for some of that.
Well, that and Fiona and Cake is definitely not for them. It is a TV 14 show.
Yeah, I saw that because my oldest is super excited about that.
Yeah.
Um, but even regular show had some questionable episodes, but
Yeah, it
uh,
does.
it's so funny because they love this guy named Blippy.
Flippy.
Oh my
Who?
gosh, you need to look up Blippy. This guy is an idiot. Um, a side note, okay, so my kids found this guy on they have a Roku TV and there's different apps for stuff, and they found this guy named Blippy, right?
Okay.
And so he does a bunch of stuff. So he's almost like,
This guy.
yes, pull up a picture. Let me see.
I don't know if I can. Give me a sec.
So anyway, this guy does like weird, he's got like a high pitched voice. He's very Pee Wee Hermanish, right?
Yeah, he's
Um,
like Pee Wee Herman, Steve Urkel.
yes. So this guy, I was reading about him. So he came out of nowhere. He started doing Blippy. He was on these free channels on Roku, right? He is blown up. There's Blippy toys now in stores. There's Blippy movies. He does a live show because it wasn't him that did it. It was the other Blippy. Yep, that's him. That's the guy. Um, and so they have a second Blippy, and they have like two different women that do things that are like Blippy people. This guy went from living in a small apartment doing these shows
Yeah.
in somewhere to buying land in Denver and is building a $21 million house.
Yeah, he has a lot of live shows. I've noticed.
Mhm.
Yeah, because my friends they like took their daughter to go to like one of these
You know,
shows or something.
people were pissed though because it wasn't him; it was
Yeah.
another guy.
Yeah.
People were super mad. Um, so, but like that is their go-to to watch. They when they went to bed tonight, they had Blippy
Hmm.
on. Which is funny because my wife's like, I know you don't like him, but he literally is like you watching Pee Wee Herman at your age, at their age.
Except like they're learning more.
Yes, yes, we didn't learn a whole lot. I did learn about the King of
Yeah,
Cartoons.
you learn about the King cartoons. You learn how to connect the dots, la la la, and you learned about um, ant farm, how the ants do their
The
things.
dinosaurs that lived in the floor.
Yeah,
So I guess he's that generation's Pee Wee. I don't want to compare him to it because Pee Wee was just something completely different,
yeah,
and this guy's not. But his toys are stupid expensive. For a plushy one, it's like $40.
jeez.
Where I remember for $30 to $40, you got the talking Pee Wee Herman.
We still have that at my parents' house.
Dude, that's gone up in
I'm
price since he's
sure
passed away. I've always wanted one. I'm not gonna pay it.
we had those, and then we had this isn't as cool to say now, but we have the talking Rosie O'Donnell as well.
Oh my gosh, my mom loved. She used to buy those koosh balls.
Same. We used to have like the shooters and stuff all the
Yep.
time.
Uh, and I think the only other person I did get him hooked onto Ernest.
Uh huh.
We watched Ernest Saves Christmas. I would love to find Ernest Goes to Camp, but it is no longer in print. it's a hard one to get, and they're just too young to watch Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh yeah, for sure. That
Did you
it's
know,
scary.
did you know that some of the trolls in there were the leftover masks from Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
I believe it because
I
they're
mean, go back.
scary.
I mean, look at them because if you look at like, holy crap, that's the clowns from Killer Clowns. That they had all this extra from the movie because it didn't do well when it released, right?
Yeah,
And so they bought them for this movie and just painted them different colors.
I
But it's
believe it
basically
because I
Killer
remember
Clowns.
watching that movie as a kid, and it's scary at parts. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Like, it's not. It's a kids movie, but it's not.
yeah. So I definitely think like you know that Blippy is that their main go-to person.
Hmm.
I won't let them watch it downstairs. I just can't watch them. And now there's Mika, and then there's I think Mika got fired because there's some new lady. And there's like Blippy number two. It's
Tupi.
yeah. I think it's crazy because like you know we try to watch these like they'll watch Rebels every now and then because it's Star Wars and
Yeah.
they love Star Wars, but like every now and then in the middle of watching an episode they'll be like where you guys going? Oh, we're gonna go watch Blippy.
Yeah.
I did not take him to the show because the tickets for them were like
Oh
$150.
yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you at all. Like that's definitely very expensive if you're taking
Do you know
more
what?
than one kid.
Do you know what show I would take him to? On a side note, if if Yo Gabba Gabba ever comes back, I would take him to that show.
Take them to Yoga Gabba and who are they? The Aquabats?
Oh, I would take him to go to the Aquabats.
Because I think it's like the Homestar Runner people helped out with Aquabats.
They were a pretty big punk band,
Yeah.
and they decided to do that Aquabats show,
Yeah.
which was strange show for kids.
Yeah.
But like they're a punk band. Like I saw on Jack Black's I think Instagram or whatever. There's a picture with him and the lead singer from Aquabats.
Mm-hmm.
They must be still be doing shows. I mean, mostly probably at bars. I probably couldn't take the kids. Um, but it's crazy. Thinking of like all this stuff like we're talking about like all these old nostalgic Disney shows and like the DC shows and stuff and like what my kids watch now. So, and they will watch Power Rangers every now and then.
I don't blame kids if they don't watch Power Rangers. Like you had to be in a certain time to really enjoy that.
Yeah, you
It,
did.
it's just not as believable anymore. Whereas like in our day and age when we just believed anything on the TV, we're like, oh, this kid is actually that person over there. That's clearly a different size and different weight. Okay. And like now, like the actors are actually the actors or they get real stunt doubles. It's not just 70s show.
Well, and I think it's even worse when Netflix had the show, The Toys We Grew Up With, or The Toys We Love, or
Yeah.
whatever that was, and you got to see how Saban made these.
Oh yeah.
Now you're like, oh man, so that's probably not even the right story. He just made up new stories. Like
Yeah,
even
it's not.
fucking Big Bad Beetleborgs is not that at all.
No, and there's only the only reason I found this out. The only reason why there are 2 seasons of Beetleborgs because there are only 2 Beetle type uh Sentai shows. And so they couldn't get any other Sentai archives to use. So they canceled the show.
But you know,
Even though it was more popular in Power Rangers at the time.
it was funny when they go back to Saban, they were interviewing him or whatever,
Yeah.
and in his office, I'm like, dude, this guy's a bazillionaire,
Mm-hmm.
and he had the most genius idea and ran with it and blew up.
Well, Sabine also did the dubbing for like Digimon.
Really?
Yeah. Like because the Saban thing played after.
Well, I know that the opening music to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, he did that song because he used to do music and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
now he's driving Bentleys. I mean, I don't know. There's a total tangent there we went on, but
Nah,
uh,
it's fine. We kind of talked about what you've been watching and stuff. I guess I'll go here for a little bit and then we can kind of end it. Um, What have I been watching? That is actually a good question. Oh, I mean, I'm watching Superman. Superman's really good. I like it a lot. Um, I've watched a little bit more of Dragon Ball, a tad. I'm still in like the Cell saga in Kai. Is that it? Is that all I'm watching? Yeah, I guess so. Besides YouTube and stuff, like I'm not really watching much or Twitch because I watch people on Twitch, especially today. But we'll talk about that after the show. Um, but otherwise, what I've been really been playing, I guess, I've been reading more of the visual novel. I don't know if I talked about it here. Witch on the Holy Night. It's
Oh no.
it's type moon novel, so like Fate Stay Night, that kind of stuff. It's on Switch and PS4. I have the digital version because it was on sale a while back. I want to say the game's normally like $40, so I got it for like 20% off or something of that. And from what I've read, it's really good. It's a visual novel. I'm on chapter 1.5 right now, reading the things in between in the archive. But yeah, no, it's a fun time. I was playing Dragon Ball on stream as well. I've been streaming Dragon Ball Kakarot. I'm playing the PS5 version, and I transferred my save data. Thankfully, thankfully, they did it right. I can convert my save data for the PS5 version without having to download the PS4 version first, send it to the cloud, and then send it back.
Oh, nice.
Because like that's the problem with Spider-Man I had, and that's the problem with I forget what else it was. There was another game that was just like that, but Spider-Man was the big one I remember, where I had to like download a copy of it that was PS4 and then convert it special and then put that conversion up into the cloud in their servers, and then I could grab it with the PS5 version. It was just a lot of time wasted. Whereas this is just, oh, you have a PS4 save? Cool. Do. We got it. So yeah, I've been playing through the old DLC to justify a purchase for the new DLC. So I'm almost done. I beat the Resurrection F DLC. So that's the one in Super where Frieza comes back to life, and becomes Golden Frieza. So that's what I did earlier this week. And then the other DLC that I still have that's like bigger, it's more cinematic, is the History of Trunks. So it's the alternate future where Goku dies from the heart disease. So it's the Android saga. Goku dies from the heart disease. All the Z fighters die from Android 17 and 18, and Gohan is the only one who survives and trains Trunks, Kid Trunks, and Gohan has like the one arm. And yeah, no, that's an excellent OVA. If someone hasn't watched that before, it's old, but it is some of the best of Dragon Ball like ever, in my opinion. Which is
You're
weird because
right.
it wasn't on that ranking thing that I did. But
Do
yeah.
you know when I watched it? Adult Swim did a Dragon Ball night, and they had a bunch of older movies.
Mhm.
They had like Tree of Might and stuff like that, and they actually showed that movie.
Oh yeah.
And
Huh.
it was like the unedited version.
Yeah, I had it on VHS. Like that's how I watched that, and then I had the Bardock movie as well, or OVA. So yeah, the DLC that I have the season pass when I bought it, forget how much it was, but it came with Battle of Gods DLC, pretty small. It's mostly just leveling up and fighting characters. And it had the Resurrection F again. It's pretty small, and then it had like a story mission, which is this History of Trunks. Um, the next one DLC that came out, it's halfway through the season pass. There, it's $40 for the season pass, I believe. But there's the Bardock story. There is the next one that just came out that I really want to play. It's the World Tournament from original Dragon Ball, like right at the end, where you fight like Piccolo Jr. and all of that. Um, and so like there's no flying or anything like that. Like you're all on the ground. You might have like a Kamehameha, but like there's no like Super Saiyan or Kaioken. Like it's all very as grounded as you can be for original Dragon Ball. I think is awesome. And then they kind of hit it because they didn't talk about it for some weird reason, but I've been seeing it a lot. The beginning of that DLC, you do the King Piccolo fight.
Oh,
Like
nice.
you're
I think it was,
tiny Goku and you do like the big old like punch through him and all that
I
stuff.
think I watched you play that. I think did you
I
play that in stream?
No, I haven't played that on stream yet.
Okay,
I was playing the the Frieza stuff on stream.
that's
But
what I
it's
watched. Yep.
yeah, it's still all the same game. It's just the DLCs. But yeah, no, the King Piccolo fight thing is pretty crazy because having a 3D game where you can play as Kid Goku, like that's my dream. Like I love original Dragon Ball so much. Like I don't like the Red Ribbon Army stuff, but like I'd pay money to play the Red Ribbon Army stuff. Just give me more Kid Goku. Um, but yeah, that's all I've really been doing and playing besides like Digimon Survive here and there. Um, Streaming that a bit. I'm trying to think of anything else really. Yeah, not yet. Maybe I'll play some Yu-Gi-Oh here soon now that I have this Yu-Gi-Oh Game Boy Advance game. Maybe I'll put in the analog pocket, and plug that in and stream. Because like I keep forgetting, like I haven't used that analog pocket in a while. But I've been collecting games and stuff for it because I plan on playing these games. So I think it's still a great investment. Um, but I really want to like start streaming some of these games again and like play them because I've been collecting a lot of, and as I've shown through the episodes of this, I've been collecting a lot of Sega Game Gear games,
Yeah.
like Sonic ones that you can't play anywhere else really, but the Game Gear. I mean, I guess they're on that new DLC for Sonic Origins, but it's not the same. Like that Sonic Origins emulator is bad. Like it's really bad.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Whereas like the Sonic Origins itself, like the game is awesome. Like I really like the way that they do all the other games, but for the Game Gear games, like the Game Gear games already run kind of bad, and then plus having like a weird engine emulator engine, like it isn't good. So I don't recommend it. Just play normal like vanilla Sonic Origins and you'll be happy. Um that's all really I've been doing. We kind of gone through a lot of stuff. Remember when we were like, "Oh, we have nothing to talk about," and then sure
Yeah,
enough, we're already
I do want to
hour
throw out there
in.
real quick that I did play a good hour and a half of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh yeah,
I got bored really quick because like you could either pick as a family
yeah.
or as the people trying to get away. But I got bored because like at one point the levels are so big that you can't find anybody, and so like you're waiting for you feed Grandpa blood, and the more you do that, the more he sends out a signal, and you can see them in yellow or whatever. But like there's times where like it kind of glitched a little bit. I know they said in the beginning, like, hey, we just launched this, we're still working on bugs, but there was a couple glitches where it just really glitched up on me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's
Did
I've
you
never played.
ever did you ever play Dragon Ball Breakers?
No, eight. My son has it, and he played a little bit of it, but they said it's pretty comparable to some of that. This is more
I think
violent.
so as well. Except like I thought it was really fun. I just haven't touched it in forever because I keep forgetting it exists. But
Yeah,
like I'd really like to play it again. So like if you do you guys still have it?
yeah, I think so. I'll have to check and see if he
If you
does.
still
If
have
not,
it, like we should play it. It's a cheap game.
yeah, it's not very expensive.
But like I think that'd be a fun game just to play or maybe even try to stream or something because like
Yeah,
it's similar to that. Like yeah, it's the asymmetrical multiplayer thing where there's one like big bad who like grows and becomes more and more powerful, but then you're trying to stop them by doing other things. But like, yeah, I don't know if the DLC is free or not, but like I know like they have the Ginyu Force now, and they had Vegeta, like what was it, like Nappa,
Yeah, I did see.
Vegeta, and maybe like Raditz and stuff, but like, and then like Big Ape Vegeta was like the final um one for that. Um, but like, yeah, no, that it sounds like right up your alley. I mean, like it sounds
Yeah,
right up your alley because you were trying to play Texas Chainsaw, but like
I
clearly
mean,
it
I
isn't
will.
clicking. But like Dragon Ball, I feel
No,
like would.
I will give a warning though that it is extremely graphic.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I've seen.
um, and I haven't played as people trying to escape, but I tell you one thing, that the one thing that kind of was frustrating a lot of times, people would get disconnected,
Mm-hmm.
and so or it made it harder to try and find people because the levels are so big. So like there was one where you're on the farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have the house, you have the basement. There's a huge tunnel system in the basement. Um, you have the grounds around there, and your goal is to get to the road, right? And then that's escaping. And so, um, yeah, I mean, I'll probably go back to it in a little bit. Other than that, that's all I've really been kind of playing. I usually my job slows down a little bit in the colder months, so I spend more time playing games. But um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'll look and see if he has that though, because I do want to play that. I did think it's. I don't remember what he got it for. I thought he got it for Switch. I could be wrong,
Oh, maybe. I think
or
I
maybe he
think
got it
that's
for
right.
PS4.
I have the PS4 version because it's an online only game. I thought it made more sense to get it on PS4. So, but yeah, that's been our show. Again, we did not talk about Gamescom because Gamescom is still happening. If you want to find out more about Gamescom, tune in a couple weeks when we talk about Gamescom, probably, assuming anything fun happened there. Um, or if you want to get Gamescom information now, just go to YouTube and look up Gamescom. We're not your parents. You can do it if you want. Um, but yeah, again, this has been the Gay Gaming Plus podcast. We are on a bunch of different services. We are on youtube.com/slash gaming. We are on audio podcast services like Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Pandora, so many things. If you want to see us there, again, this is um, it's a bi-weekly podcast, so you will see us bi-weekly on Wednesdays or hear us bi-weekly on Wednesdays and then see us bi-weekly on Fridays. Um, yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Do you have anything to say, man?
Just to get at it.
Get at it.